Our cold frame is getting emptier all the time. We're potting on more and more stuff. Still got quite a few things we can plant out though. Several lupins, some oriental poppies, and then what else have we got? Loads of hydrangeas in there that I took as hardwood cuttings and did over the winter. They must be getting root systems by now, surely, so they need doing. We've still got a tray of leeks left, although there are some weeds going up through it. We took another tray up to the allotment. They're going to get planted out up there. Not quite sure where exactly we're going to put these leeks yet, but we'll make a space somewhere. So we've still got loads going. Now I have noticed though, look, the dahlias that I had Diablo have been snailed or slugged. I think it was a snail because I caught the culprit. Let's just say the chickens enjoyed their meal. So that's a goner. I managed to save a couple and I put them into pots around here somewhere. Where did they go? Come on, here we go. I've saved two and they've gone into one big pot with some homemade compost. You can see the damage that the snail's done, but we'll see. Hopefully they should recover with our plants in a worse condition. Sun's out today, so this, is it Delosperma, Jewel of Desert Grenade, they only come out when the sun's open, and they're beautiful. Carnations have started to come out. Lettuce is doing really well. My daughters have been having the odd little bit of this on sandwiches and that. And here is the phlox, which is stunning. Hang on, have we got a label? Have we got a variety? Let's have a look for a label. Yes. So it's called McDaniel's Cushion. If I had any secret growing tips to pass on, I'd tell you how we get it to look so good. But to be honest, I've just treated it how I treat pretty much all our other plants in crops. I gave it a good mulch of compost a couple of months ago. Gets regularly watered. I haven't deadheaded this yet. I don't think we've had to yet, but I dare say you probably deadhead it when needed. Gorgeous. Watch this space, there might very well be a meaning of plants video coming up about this phlox. While it's looking so good, it'll be nice to film it in the condition that it's in. Speaking of meaning of plants videos, I just made one about those auriculas there. So that'll be uploaded soon-ish. They're looking very good. And if you go back through my videos, I have done a video about how we propagated those auriculas. And look, here's the fruits of that labour. That in that pot there. There's some in that pot there, which desperately needs weeding. But they're fairly easy to propagate. So if you've got one and you want more, go back. In fact, I'll put the link for that video into this video, so you can go back and watch it and see how we did it. Oh look, wild garlic's in flower. We've not really picked any of that this year, to be honest. There's plenty of things you can use it for. You can make a nice pesto with wild garlic. If you don't have any and you're thinking about planting some of your own, it does spread fairly easily, so try and keep it contained if you can. I mean, I've got mine in pots, but it'll still spread out of those pots into the other pots, and we'll be picking out random wild garlic seedlings as we do every year, but we don't mind. Fig tree's getting some good leaves on it. No sign of any figs yet though. They'll come, they'll come. Broad beans have got plenty of flowers on them. As have Ruby's broad beans in a veg in one bed up at the allotment. Oh, this overwintered garlic here, and I don't know if you can tell, but at the back there's also a row of shallots. They were all overwintered. We're just waiting for it to be ready now and free up the bed, and we can get some other things planted. Now here's a funny little thing I noticed. So, Jerusalem artichokes in a tyre. If you look at the bottom, we've got a rogue one growing out from underneath the tyre. You know what, I can nip that off. There's no point having it there, we're going to get plenty more from where I actually want them to grow. That little treat for the chickens. Yeah, have some Jerusalem artichoke leaves. Oh, you're so not interested in that, are you? You're not going to eat it? Here's some lambs here that self-seeded itself in the gap between the decking and the paving slabs. So following on from the theme of the video released last week about the RHS National Gardening Week, and the main theme was homegrown food and edible Britain. Crops in pots. Oh, that's broke. I didn't realise that was broke, but luckily it's only the rim, so it's still going to hold the soil, that's fine. That's an old plastic storage container that we used to put the girls' toys in when they were little. But we now grow food in them. So following on that theme, I've just rescued out of the cold frame 2 red pak choys, and I say rescued because, like my dahlias, these have been getting slugged and snails have been eating them, so we'll get this planted out. I've got 2 of these. A pot this size will easily fit 2 of these in them. And while I'm doing this, I just got to keep looking behind me in case I get pecked on the bum. I've let one of the chickens out, Blue. I'll show you once I've done this, and I'll tell you why we've let her out. Plenty of roots on there. So over this weekend, it's been World Naked Gardening Day. Not for me. And to be honest, when I went to the allotment on World Naked Gardening Day on Saturday, I was a little bit scared about what kind of shenanigans I might find going on up there. Because how can I put this politely? Let's just say the average age of most allotment holders is quite high, and nobody needs to see that really. 2 planted out, got the labels in, so that's more homegrown food that we can enjoy from our concrete floored backyard. And pak choi, it's not hugely widely available in shops to buy. You can buy pak choi leaves as a mixed salad, but I've just said it, mixed salad. You'll get it in with other things like different types of lettuce leaves and that, and spinach leaves. I can't really think of an example where you can just go into a shop and buy a pak choi in its own. So that's why we grow our own. It's giving us more variety. Just for fun, what type of plant's this? Leave a comment. I don't need a variety name. Let's not get geeky about this. Just tell me what type of plant it is. This is Blue. She's the feisty one that's always escaping. But last few days, she's not been looking very well. You see how she's all hunched up. Her comb, which is that thing on top of her head, has it's shrunk a bit and it's flopped over. It's gone a bit pale compared to the other chickens' combs, who are bright red and very sort of like firm and erect. Now I've looked at her eyes, they don't look too bad, they still look fairly bright. I've looked at her nostrils on her beak, they're not leaking snot or anything. I've been having a good listen to her. I can't hear her sneezing or wheezing or coughing. However, she has got a bit of a pooey bum, which is a sign that the chickens might not be very well. So we've let her out, we've given her some TLC, we've dusted her. So if she's got mites or lice, the dust will just basically drive them out and kill them. We've picked some chickweed and some dandelion leaves. Ruby's scattered a little bit of corn on the floor, and we've also found a couple of worms. You might be able to see one there just wriggling away in a bid to escape. And another thing we'll do is we'll make sure that in her drinking water she's also got some apple cider vinegar, because that can kind of prevent quite a few illnesses that chickens can be prone to. That said, Bluey's quite a few years old now. How old would you say Bluey's, Ruby?
I remember with Poppy, and I remember Poppy, I think we got Poppy when I was about 3, so she is quite old.
Yeah, and we're not quite sure how old Blue was when we got her, are we?
No.
So I'd say she's at least 5 years old, at least. She could be quite a few years more than that. One thing I have noticed though, our chickens, they're not enormous worm fans. You see, there's a worm and she's not going for it, and none of her chickens really are huge worm fans. We have had chickens in the past that absolutely go mad for worms, but not these current ones we've got. So we'll just keep an eye on Blue, and hopefully she'll perk up. Oh, and another thing we did is I gently held her upside down and rubbed the crop, which is kind of like down her neck on the front of her chest, and it's where chickens store the food. I rubbed the crop while her head was pointing down towards the floor, and doing that, if there's a thing called sour crop, by doing that you're just kind of like easing it, and you're getting out any foul smelling liquid where the food that they store in the crop has started to ferment, but nothing came out, so I don't think it's sauerkraut. Hello Blue, hello gorgeous. If any of you have ever needed convincing about the benefits of mulching, here's a plastic dustbin where I did plant peas in. Only 2 have come up, but that's by the by, that's not necessarily connected to the mulching. But look at the weeds that are in it. There's that many little weeds, it's hard to tell where the 2 pea plants are and where the weeds are. And that hasn't been mulched. I didn't mulch this bin, no reason, just didn't mulch it. But if you look over here on our brick D-shaped planter where we've got all the overwintered garlics, this gets mulched fairly often, and there's not that many weeds because mulching works. Now, there's a few things I mulch this with. I just either top it up with some of our own homemade compost, or sometimes where I work I've got some very kind people who save their coffee grounds for me, and I throw all those on. In fact, I don't know if you can make out the colour difference. There is a little patch of coffee grounds that are coming through. So if you're not already, get mulching, it works. Just going to put on one more thing out the cold frame. In this pot we have got 3 oriental poppies, and I've got a lovely big pot here, so I think they're going to go into that. So let's get them out. So the RHS National Gardening Week has really got me thinking, even though the main theme of this year's National Gardening Week was edible Britain, homegrown food, just growing in general is an improvement on not growing anything at all. So, you know, hopefully these videos that I do, and plenty of other YouTubers as well, if you're not already considering yourself a gardener, because you might think it's too difficult and you don't have the knowledge and there's too much to learn, it's not that hard. It really isn't that hard. It's not expensive. It's not inaccessible. I mean, I grew these from seed, and a packet of seeds you can get for sometimes starting at about 50p, and you'll get a couple of hundred seeds with which you can fill your backyard with beauty. So let's get them in. I'll give those a little bit of a water, keep the label in there so I remember what they are until they flower, and these will be beautiful. Can't prove it to you now because you're looking at small plants, but when they flower I'll show you what they look like. And they've literally cost me a couple of pence. Right, done.
Like and subscribe, like and subscribe.